So, when you are pricing out your paint jobs for your customers, I have found it easier to go by just an hourly rate rather than price everything individual, because people start talking, and it's just easier for me. I get a lot of people that are sending me pictures, and they can't bring the part or the car to me to look at it, and they always want these online estimates. I don't necessarily do that, but I do say, hey, such and such an hour, and then the next question I usually get is, well, how many hours is it going to take? It's an estimate, and then they call it an estimate for a reason. It's not directly on. It's not going to be. It may be close. It might not be close. Some things I nail it right on the head. Other things, I'm pretty far off. But I always find it easier to overprice your work rather than underprice yourself, because for one, I've seen that it makes customers really happy when you give them a roundabout number and it's actually lower by a lot, or maybe 5 or 10 hours. You times that by your hourly rate, that's a lot of money for those people. So they're a lot happier when you're price it high, then they come back and when you get it done, you're like, hey, I actually had this many hours into it. And you just got to be honest. There's a lot of things that I have priced high recently on purpose. It gauges interest, like how interested is the customer and me doing this for them. And two, it just makes them happier in their end when I call them and be like, hey, I got it done. It's actually a lot lower than what I quoted you. So estimates are estimates for a reason. They're not close. Sometimes they will be. A lot of times they're not. So, but like I said, price it high. It's better than if you price it low, because if you price it low, say, hey, that's going to take me 500. It's going to take about 5 hours, about $500 to do it, and then you get it done. It's like, oh shoot, I have actually 1,100 into it. So it's just better for yourself. It makes customer happy. Just price it high. I don't even really say that it's going to be lower, or if I think it's going to be low, I don't really say anything. I just price it the way I do, roundabout number. And 9 times out of 10, like I said, they're just happier, and when they come pick it up, and it makes it easier on me. And I just iterate that I take care of my customers. And that's one thing that I think why people coming back to me, because in this industry, especially in my area, I'm about 25 minutes north of Indianapolis, and there's a lot of shady painters in Indy that I keep hearing stories about. And people are not they're just not happy, and they're paying really high prices. So when they find me, or somebody contacts them with me, and I give them I'm pretty straightforward with it. I don't beat around the bush. My work is around my building, so if you come out here and you look at my stuff, the quality speaks for itself, and I charge my prices because I charge my prices for a reason. And then that's just the way it is, the way this industry is, especially with this custom stuff. You really pay for what you pay for what you get. You get what you pay for, what people say. So it's really, really important that you're upfront, transparent with the customers, and just tell them how it is, because in the end, they're just going to be happier. It's a lot less stress on you as an artist, as a painter. So today's video, we're going to jump back into this painting. I kind of did a little bit here off camera. I'm going to show you guys where So this is where we left off. I started doing hair recently here, just kind of mapping it in. And then I did some textures around the nose, things like that, and pulling this image in. This is the image that we're doing. So you always want to have your image really close as you can get it. That way you can keep constantly looking back and forth. And you probably see me on videos staring off into the distance. It's because I'm directly going back and forth all the time, looking at my reference, making sure every little thing is where it needs to be. And I think that's why these images come out so well, because I literally put everything exactly where it needs to be. Sometimes I do mess up, and that's just, being an artist, you'll mess up more than anything. But when you're mapping things out like this, this is why I do this, for a reason. It's easier for me to go back in and correct things. So I always start with the white, really over reduced, and I just start light, and that allows me to build up because you're not getting that bright white. Even like right here, this is not the brightest white that I can get out of this white that I'm using. It's just really over reduced, and I'm constantly going back and over, you know, adding layers to it, and it just keeps pulling that out, so it gives it many, many layers of depth, and that's why these images come out the way they do, and they look so real. So that's just how I do things. So we're going to continue mapping this thing out. I'm going to try to finish this up today. I've got about an hour and a half left of time, so I'm going to try to get this thing all mapped out in white. So here we're going to get started. I might put you guys on a time lapse, turn some music on, and just jam out and get this thing done. All right, so we got a lot of this mapped in already. This is what it looks like right now. Kind of keeping this, a lot of this stuff is going to get hidden back down. I want to kind of fade his hair out into the black, same way with his top of his head. It's really messy, the hair right now is, because obviously it's really messy, you know, as a gorilla. I mean, it's everywhere. So trying to keep that in mind, that this hair is really sporadic. I'm going to do this the fastest way possible because hair is really time consuming. So as you can see, I just pretty much did a lot of motion, strands everywhere. That's how I block in hair really quick. This really didn't take me no time to do, but like over here, I like the way this looks. But over here, there's so much different colors, like grays and blacks and browns and tans. Same way with his head. His head's got a lot of like a red brownish shadowing to it. So I'm going to go back in with the razor blade and I'm going to go through and refine all these after I get the black base down. And the black's going to be really over reduced. I'm going to add some browns to it because I'm going to go back in here and darken all these areas up, like his eyes and everything, to punch this stuff back. And then I can go back over, like I said, with the razor blade, and I can go through his hair and make it a lot more finer. As you can see in the pictures, that it's like I got a lot of those fine marks right here where my thumb's at. So a razor blade will work wonders by doing all this tiny little detailed hair that's in this picture. So we got it mapped in. Next pot, I'm going to draw this in down here, and then we're going to add the black, and then we're going to start adding the razor blade marks as well as the color. But it's turning out really good. So